What is up, guys? I do hope you're well, and welcome back to another episode from the Daddy Cringe subreddit. Today's stories are made, I think they're all entitled parents today, and I've been overwhelmed with the amount of stories that's been shared on there already. Believe me, I'm literally saving them all. I've got a folder on my desktop that's just full of stories. As I said, I'm overwhelmed with the amount you guys have shared already. I didn't expect that many stories, so you're gonna have to forgive me, but I will catch up at some point. Well, I probably won't, because it's gonna be an ongoing thing if you guys keep posting stories, but I will try my best to keep going through them. If you do want your story shared, post it on the Daddy Cringe subreddit and get involved. We would love to have you there. And with that being said, let's get straight into it. Much love, guys. First, we have a story from Calm Queen Key. Thank you very much for sharing. Insane mum breaks into community centre and tries to kidnap a child that wasn't in her custody. Hi, this is my second post, and I know my grammar and spelling is terrible. If someone points out any mistakes, I'll correct them. I hope you enjoy the story. In college, I had to volunteer at certain centres for 2 classes. I needed 20 hours between the 2 classes. I worked Monday, Wednesday and Friday. This centre is large and has lots of kids around in after school. My shift starts just as they get out of school, so I help out the older staff and get kids ready for playtime. Everything is going fine until a woman storms in and starts screaming at everyone trying to find her child. She is banging at the door screaming that we locked her out. It was a push door instead of a pull. I don't know how she was confused. Entitled parent, of course she's going to be confused. She finally realises a push door when she kicks it hard enough that it opens. She then storms up to the desk and starts screaming at me. Right before she got in, I text some of the other workers that they need to lock their doors and sent everyone the same text. She's now screaming in my face until she notices I'm in a different uniform than the rest. The rest being those that only do paperwork and could run away when the crazy parents walk in. The conversation starts here. EM, insane mother. SM, sweet mother. JD, jerk father and only lives to cause me pain. Me, S, supervisor. Oh, you don't work here, sorry sweetie. She walks round and starts trying to open some classroom doors. Why don't you open the door, sweetie? Oh my god, she sounds creepy already. Yeah, this confirms it. How she said it had me shivering in terror. I thought I was about to end up the first victim, just as my supervisor came from the back. Is there a problem here? Yes, there is. My son is in here and I'm here to pick him up. Also, there seems to be a lost child. Perhaps you should find her parents. I was too terrified to be offended. That is actually one of my volunteers and we would be happy to locate the child. Can you give me his name? EM gives the child's name. He should be here and I need to take him home to be cleaned. What the hell? I'm sorry miss, he is not here. His mother took him to the clinic today for a checkup. She looks at me with the coldest eyes. Excuse me? Sorry, but that's what's written down in the report. Our report shows kid's name, age, pick, school, and where they are at the time. He was out for a doctor's appointment set up by the mother. I can call his school to see if there was a mix-up. Yes, there must be a mix-up, since I am here to pick him up. Where is my child? She was slamming her hands down on the desk, screaming at me. Mum, I need you to calm down. By this point, we're starting to panic because the kid wasn't here. He did not go to school and was supposed to be with his mother. But here she is, freaking the heck out. Where is my child? I'm on the verge of tears because she's still screaming at me. When I look past her at the glass doors, I see a car pull up and a younger woman get out with said kid. She looks in and freezes, but enters anyway. By this point, it's been about half an hour and the shutdown is still in progress. She opens the door easy because EM broke the lock when she kicked it in. Hello, I'm here to drop my son off. Mother, what are you doing here? I grabbed the kid and get him into his room down the hall and away from the screaming match that was about to happen. I was gone for a good 20 minutes. I know this because I sat down and watched the clock. When my time was up, I left the room and entered the main office and wanted to quit right then and right there. Both women were currently standing there glaring at each other with 2 guards standing between them. EM spotted me and smiled. Oh sweetheart, can you explain to this gentleman that kid's name is my son and that I'm here to retrieve him? No mother, he is my son and you're his grandmother. We've been over this. I'm not selling you my child. She said this loud and clear, and I'm sure the first thought to cross the supervisor's head was, she's tried this before, or what the actual hell. I'm probably sure it's the second one. I am once again behind the desk when she slams her hands down again. This time she's mad at me. Why did you take my son away when you knew that I was here to pick him up? Well, I know his father. He is the one that picks him up. If you'd like, I could call him. Both women looked annoyed by this, and I couldn't blame them. The jerk made my days increasingly hard every time I saw him, but he could be the answer to ending the situation. So I look up his number and call him. You don't have to do that. I wish you didn't have to do this. EM glares at SM. She wouldn't if you gave him to me. He is not your child.
But he called me mummy.
Because you told him to call you mummy. That's why I bring him here after school. You confuse him every time I let you babysit. Jerk dad answers the phone. Hello, I'm at work. Make this quick. He sounded like he's at a sports bar. Yes, there is a situation at the centre. Can you tell me who the mother of your child is? Whatever. His phone ring catches me off guard. Hold on, my wife is calling. He clicks off and I hear screaming. This entitled, insane and flat out stupid woman called her husband while I was on the phone with him and started to tell him a lie. SM took the phone and hung up, which caused the screaming and fighting. Weird. She hung up, but yeah, the mother is SM's name. Is that all? He sounded super awkward and embarrassed. Yes, that is all. I hung up and quickly called the guards over. I need one of you to start banning EM from the premises, and for the other one to kick her out. She was thrown out after screaming and kicking, and finally with the police's help. She wasn't arrested as far as I know, but who knows what SM did afterwards. My supervisor pulled me and SM into his office to apologise, and we were able to get the full story from her. Now some of you might be confused as to why JD called EM his wife. Well, apparently this creature assaulted SM when she was 18 and told everyone that she got him drunk and slept with him. The only person in their large family to buy that BS was from her mother EM, so SM moved and cut out all contact. EM refused to speak with her until she gave birth. She then walked in the hospital and told everyone of the nurses and the doctor that the baby was hers and her daughter was a surrogate. It took hours for SM to hear about it from the family because they were keeping EM away from her and the baby. She put a restraining order on the EM and so on for the 4 years of ungodly annoyance. I feel sorry for the SM and I hope her mother gets stuck in a 2-hour traffic with a full bladder. Of all the things you could have wished on her, a 2-hour traffic jam with a full bladder. That's pretty wholesome. Thank you once again for sharing that absolutely insane story. You gotta think there's something proper mental going on for the person to be claiming that's their child. That something not quite balanced in the head with that. But that's absolutely nuts. And we have another story from Squishy Lover 21. Thank you very much. You evil Russians are trying to poison me and my baby. Okay, so me and my girlfriend were talking about allergies the other day, and I mentioned how I can't eat bananas and reminded me of this story. I'm not allergic or anything, I just can't keep them down, and it's an experience I'd rather not put myself through deliberately. So a couple of years ago, my mum and her daughter moved in a few doors down the street from my grandparents. My grandma decided we should make banana bread together and send some as a welcome gift to the new neighbours, because that's just what you do. I love baking with my grandma, and even though I couldn't eat it, banana bread smelled absolutely amazing. I offered to quickly drop it off while my grandma made us have a cup of tea and sat down for a rest. The woman who opened the door looked completely average and seemed actually quite nice as she took the bread excitedly and invited me in, practically cooing over the fact that it was homemade and inviting me inside. I was anxious to get back because stranger's house and all that, but she seemed nice enough and I didn't want to be rude. She offered me a slice and I politely declined, but she insisted, a little less nicely. So I said something along the lines of, "Oh sorry, thanks, but I can't eat that." The woman looked visibly confused and then suddenly jumped away from the cake she was cutting as if it was radioactive or something. She then started to scream about, "You evil Russians are trying to poison me and my baby." I would have explained, but she just wouldn't stop screaming. Apparently she met my grandfather. He's Ukrainian and has a pretty thick accent. I decided to get out of there before the situation could escalate further, so no assault or dramatic ending, though I did get some cake thrown at me, which I dodged before running out of there, pursued by threats of calling the police. I don't know if she actually called the police, but I don't think they would have taken her seriously even if she did. I don't get it. Why? She must have had something against your grandfather and his sort of thick accent, thinking he's Russian already. She must have something against Russians to begin with, to jump back and say, "You evil Russians are trying to poison me." It's absolutely nuts. But the fact that you got the cake launched at you put a vivid picture in my head. That's just hilarious. And I quite like these ones where there's like no massive dramatic ending or anything like that. She didn't try to knife you or anything. She just threw a bit of cake at you and you had to run out the place. But your grandmother sounds great. Making cake for people in the area. I'd love to meet a grandmother like that. We need one of them around my area. Thank you very much, Squishy Lover 21. Much love. Next we have a story from Papa001. Thank you very much. Hi, so I had an old account here, but forgot the username to it. Anyway, this is about my mum. A bit of backstory. My mum's mood has been known to flip on a dime, and without warning. There's been a few times where she'd yell at my dad and I about making a joke about her favourite show, The Real Housewives of whatever. She watches them all. Anyway, these tantrums would sometimes leave her throwing furniture at my dad. Oh my god. This is about a recent story between me and my mum. I'm not sure where else to put this other than entitled people/parents. I don't know if this is important, but another thing about my mum is that she downright refuses Western medical practices. I've been seen and diagnosed by a doctor that has scoliosis. I hope I got that right. I've had this in a previous video and I'm not sure if I got it right that time either. And a torn cartilage in my sternum. But my mum will not let me take any treatment for it because she thinks that it's not real. Oh my god, it's not right, man. So the cast is pretty obvious. Just me, mum and dad. It was a simple and beautiful day outside. I just finished cleaning up the coop, so my nails and hands are covered in duck poop. Nice. I come in through the garage, which immediately enters into the dining room and kitchen where my mum is preparing food for the party she has to go to. I wave to my mum as I walk to the restroom to start my shower, when I'm jumped by a sudden banging on the restroom door. My mum bursts into the restroom with me being naked and looks at me with a look that lets me know I've screwed up. She starts off, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I'm getting ready for a shower. I have a stuttering issue and it gets worse when I'm frightened or anxious. Another thing my mum thinks I've made up to get attention. "And you didn't think to ask me if I needed help? Did I raise you to be selfish and spoiled?" No. She then slams the door in my face and I just stand there dumbfounded for a moment. You're naked at this point and this is still going on. This is crazy. I turn off the shower and get dressed in clothes I throw on the floor. I go out to the kitchen and ask my mum if she needs any help. That doesn't sound so bad, right? Well, my mum started us off. "What do you think you're doing?" "Helping? You said I should ask." "You're covered in duck poop. Go take a shower. Fucking disgusting." I sigh and leave the bathroom. My dad then texts me asking if I was okay. See, my dad is pretty cool and understanding. He heard the whole ordeal and found it ridiculous that my mum was making a huge deal out of nothing. Anyways, I tend to avoid my mum now. I work 2 jobs and I'm a student, so I'm doing a pretty good job of that. This is actually incredibly sad. I'm so sorry that you're having to go through that, Papa, because it almost sounds... No, I don't mean to be like over dramatic or talk about your mum in a negative light or anything like that, because I don't know the full situation. But that's almost like abusive stuff. You know, she needs to be dealt with. Because that's not on to like turn on your that and burst in when you're butt naked. That's not on. It's actually, yeah, as she said, fucking disgusting that she's doing that. Ugh. And also, I'm not sure how old you are. I imagine you're old enough to work. Get to the doctor and just bypass your mother, because there's no way you should not be seeing the doctor with what you have. You know, it isn't going to help you in the long run if you don't deal with it now. Just totally bypass your mum. It's pissing me off. It's winding me up right now that she just won't let you go see a doctor because of that and thinks you're making it up. Just go and do it, please, for your own sake.